just talked about the impact of, and you're continuously writing about the impact of the web. And you're kind of bashing publishing and media, and a little bit the ad agencies, so the old model. But what about brands? What is their role?
Okay, first just let me say that I'm not bashing media and publishing. I have made my livelihood in media and publishing for 35 years. I so depend on them. I wish media and publishing the best. God bless you, media and publishing. But there are problems with media and publishing that have everything to do with the business model collapsing as a direct result of the digital revolution. And wishing for the best is not going to be enough to stop what are immutable forces of the economic universe. The law of supply and demand is playing havoc with media, publishing, and even the very internet that's doing the damage. So it's going to be hard for people to make money, but nonetheless, I feel very optimistic about the future of marketing. Marketing, in fact, will be delivered by the very same forces that are destroying what used to be their primary channels.
In a way, it sounds a bit like we are cutting out the middleman, or the technology is cutting out the middlemen. So that brands and consumers are converging in a new space.
Yes, they are. That's exactly right. We have cut out the middleman, the mediation, and in a world of disintermediation, the consumer and the marketer are meeting, but they're meeting on equal terms, and that has changed everything. So, rather than buying truckloads full of gross rating points and just browbeating TV audiences or print audiences with dictated messages, unilateral conversation, shouting from a mountaintop with a megaphone. Now you actually have to strike up a conversation. You have to sustain a conversation and turn that into a relationship and sustain that. And that is going to be the future of marketing. And it's not easy. It is very difficult, tedious work, person by person, and it's difficult to scale. But so in that sense, it's very inefficient compared to the old world of mass media. Micromedia, on the face of it, is very inefficient. But the difference is when you build relationships like that and you honor those relationships, they are sustainable in a way that all of these 30-second spot purchased relationships are not. It's the difference between a lifelong relationship and a kind of a one-night stand. You can seduce somebody with a TV commercial, but it doesn't mean they're going to buy into your act for the rest of your life, and they very seldom do.
Is this all the research companies, and there are so many, should they be jubilating? Because actually the amount of energy needed to study the consumer, is that your point? I would assume not, but...
It depends on what kind of research you're selling. There's a lot of people who just, may as well just turn out the lights, they're out of business, because like much of the advertising industry, a lot of these advertising support businesses are now utterly irrelevant. They've just been obsoleted by technology. But that said, research is very critical, and there are right now probably hundreds around the world, if not thousands, of businesses who have written software that tries to detect sentiment among Facebook posts and Twitter tweets and other online content to try to actually perform listonomics exactly as I'm preaching it. Some of the software is better than others. Some of these businesses will be successful. But at the heart of all of this is finding the people with whom you have common ground, figuring out whether they're for you or against you, and they're equally good prospects, because obviously people who are predisposed to liking you, they're easier to meet, but the people whom you convert have the zeal of the converted and are the greatest evangelists. So if you can win friends, you can win lifelong friends, and I think that the secret of marketing from now on will be being, like a really friendly guy.
And so we're in Cannes, and there's basically every agency you can think of is doing a lecture about how they're adapting to this new world. Lots of models are being shown, lots of ads, lots of Facebook campaigns, you name it. But it strikes me that one essential part is missing, the consumer. We're still talking about the consumer. You know, if he, or is it a she, or is so important. So what's calm without the most important person?
Well, Cannes has always been without the most important person, if you ask me. I got to say, I've been hard on this festival for decades because I think it propagates a lot of the wrong values of, this cult of entertainment and subversion over the business of representing your client's interests before the consumer. I think far too little attention has been paid both to the client on the one side and the consumer on the other, and way too much to building up portfolios and being, a rock star at the gutter bar. That said, every agency is out trying to persuade its clientele and prospective clients that they are adapting beautifully to the digital world and that they're thought leaders, but it's just not true. And it's for a very simple reason. Advertising agencies are themselves, their business model was rendered irrelevant by the digital age. Because though the 15% commission disappeared 20 years ago, there's always been still this sort of parallel relationship between agency revenue and client spend. And all of a sudden agencies have to figure out another way to be compensated. And they've never been very good at being compensated for ideas. And that's what it takes, ideas. And until they figure out a way to come up with a contract with a multinational, CPG marketer that compensates them for figuring out how to create these relationships, they are screwed, glued, and tattooed. So this is all just, this is all smoke and mirrors. Nobody has figured out how they're going to make any money once they get to stop sucking at the broadcast media teat.
You guys are from Denmark, running an independent agency there. And of course you're our neighbors to the north. Now, looking from Germany, there's a lot of things going on where we feel that, hey, the Danish guys, they used to be like so open and friendly and easygoing. It seems a lot harsher. Is that a weird perception only we're having through media?
Are we talking about closing the borders? Because
yes.
we don't like that. In that sense, we do not agree, and a lot of Danes do not. So it's a small and very aggressive opposition that are causing all the headlines. But I mean, in average, Danes want. We're part of the EU. We should be open and we should be friendly to our neighbors.
What do you guys want to get out of Cannes? Why are you here?
I think this cross-media discussion we also had before is very interesting, and I would like to know how to organize that when we go back to the agency. So, and then talk to all the other markets and see what they're doing and how they're doing it. I think that's the most important thing.
I will say it's the last time I will use the terms traditional media or new media. We will get rid of them during this week, and we will talk about media and content, commercial content, and how we reach people, the platforms, and where we do it is not, necessary initially.
So you guys run this agency, and I understand it's very successful. So what are you doing? How do you make it work? How do you guide creativity and create a great product? Tell us the secret.
We are very open.
And I think one of the secrets is that all the people we hire is creative, even though it's the accountant or it's the receptionist, and then we hire lots of talent. And we make sure that everyone is good people and no backstabbing, and it makes an open environment, and that's where you can be creative.
We have in our values, it's love and honesty, and we do a lot of mistakes. But we always focus on the ball and not the man. So I mean, we never throw anyone out, or we never discuss a person. We just discuss the result or the solution, and that creates an atmosphere of people saying, "Okay, I can do that as well." And if I don't do it well, someone will help me. And that's what all people that are starting, especially people coming from big networks, are like, "Wow, this is Disneyland." I mean, everybody's so friendly. I come from the evil empire.
We're seeing brilliant ideas using technology, using mobile, using the web. But how important is it actually in the creative process when having an idea? Do we all need to become technical experts? How do you deal with that?
I would say creativity fuels technology and the other way around. And I think that, again, you have to be open, because you're going to sit and work with people that might be technicians. Some of their technical ideas can fuel an interesting sort of concept, creative idea, and the other way around. So it's, again, be open and listen. And even I'm the like old school traditional elephant. I started in 1990, and I think I would have been bored to death if these things weren't happening, because I had to sort of rejuvenate. And I mean, there's people 25 telling me things that I pretend to know, but I don't know a clue about. But that's nice. So I have to be open as well. The only thing closed is our financial department.
I understand you're the financial department.
Yes.
So did you ever think about quitting?
Yes.
Yes.
Every Monday. And I actually quit 4 or 5 times this year as well. And I'm totally insecure about what I do, and I suddenly get a rush of, okay, then we do it again. But I think, no, I would do it again.
So what gives you the rush when you're actually thinking, oh my God, this is too much, I don't want to do this? Why do you come back?
Because you see this great idea on all the platforms, and you have fun. It's fun. And you see the happy clients, they're selling more products, and everybody's, yeah. So when it really happens, it's just a rush.
I mean, the process of sitting there blank and suddenly it's there, that's really the adrenaline of it. And you never know when it's going to happen. It's like a fire station. You can just walk around like a lion and suddenly the bell rings. So.
Where are you from and why are you here? What are you searching for in Cannes?
I'm currently living in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City to be exact. Why we're here at Cannes is really to just be inspired, see what else is going on around the world, and to walk away with a new sense of commitment to what we're doing in the creative field. So take that back to Vietnam and share that with the team and the company back there.
So you recently, I understand, you moved to Vietnam, which obviously is a developing market. Is it growing fast?
Vietnam is probably one of the last true emerging markets in Asia. It is hot on the heels of China and India. I give it another 5 to 10 years, and we definitely will see it being one of those countries that will be considered at the forefront, I think, of creativity in Asia.
So how does that work? What is the impact on your daily work and on your personal creativity of moving from a maybe more developed market into a place like Vietnam? Do you see that there's things that are very similar, and there are things that are totally different? And how do you manage that?
Well, it's definitely not anything that you could comprehend going from, say, a first world country like the U.S. and then going to a place like Vietnam. It's a lot more challenging. There's a huge cultural difference, but at the same time, I think that there's a immaturity in the market that everyone at one point had experienced. So it's just a cycle. So they just happen to be at the bottom of the cycle, and they're moving their way up towards the top.
And what's the role of technology in your daily work or in your life?
I think just like any others, we use Facebook to talk to some of our clients. We engage in Twitter and report through daily tweets to show some inspiration. I don't think it's going to be much different, but I think in Vietnam it is still very infant. I think people are still just getting used to the technology of being able to share these conversations because keeping in mind Vietnam is a communist country still, and being able to express one's opinions is still considered quite new and also quite sensitive as to what they would want to express themselves.
Are viral videos really cheap?
No. First of all, I wouldn't call them anything viral unless the consumer says that they're viral. Videos are not cheap to do. I think that's a big misperception that clients and people out there have. I mean, it really depends on the person. You could go and shoot something on a handheld, on your mobile phone, put it up on YouTube, and it could go viral. Was that cheap to do? Yes, but is that something that a client should say that I want a video like that and that represents their brand? Maybe not. So I think it has to be relative to the context, but no, they're not necessarily cheap.
And is doing social media an idea?
I don't think it's necessarily an idea as much as it is a platform in which we can engage the consumer. But it's definitely not an idea. You can weave an idea in how that social media works for you, but it is not an idea in itself in terms of if I went to a client and said we're going to open up a Facebook page, that's not an idea.
Party or inspiration?
Inspiration.
Party.
Beach or seminar?
Beach.
I mean, we don't get seminars on the beach. I will go seminar, and then beach.
Culture or structure?
Culture.
Dream or reality?
Dream.
Dream.
First mover or early adopter?
Early adopter. After the
After today, early adopter.
Party or inspiration?
Inspiration.
Process or end result?
End result.
Culture or structure?
Culture.
Dream or reality?
Dream.
First mover or early adopter?
First mover.
FaceTime or Facebook?
FaceTime.
And yesterday or tomorrow or today?
Tomorrow.